I will call to order the City of Madeira Beach Planning Commission meeting for Monday, July 31st, 2017, in the Commission chambers at 6 o'clock. Can we please have the roll call?
Sure. Second Vice Chair Flynn.
Here.
Commissioner Carr.
He's here.
Okay, thank
Say
you.
here, Dennis.
I just called your name. Commissioner Belaski.
Here.
Commissioner Rasmussen.
Here.
Chairman Noble.
Here. And the third order of business will be election of the officer of first vice chair. Do we have anybody who would nominate anybody?
Yes, I would like to nominate myself, Robin Belaski, for their position.
I'll second that.
Do we need a third, or we go to vote?
Commissioner Carr.
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Flynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Belaski. Yes. Commissioner Rasmussen.
Yes.
Chairman Noble.
Yes. And on to the approval of the minutes for December 12th, 2016 and February 6th, 2017. Do we have any changes to the minutes?
There were some amended minutes, correct, on one
Yes.
of those?
That's why it came back in front of us, because those were amended minutes, so
Correct.
no change to the amended minutes.
Okay.
Then we will accept the minutes as submitted, and I will sign those.
Yeah, you have to-
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Belaski.
Yes.
Commissioner Carr.
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Flynn.
Yes.
Commissioner Rasmussen.
Yes.
Chairman Noble.
Yes. Minutes have been approved. And order number 5, we're on to new business. To consider a redevelopment plan for a property located at 355 Bogosiega Drive. Would the city like to give a little background on it?
If I could just do a little explanation on the quasi-judicial process and just introduce the case. As a quasi-judicial proceeding, this commission acts in a quasi-judicial manner rather than a legislative capacity. At a quasi-judicial hearing, it is not the commission's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the commission is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make legal decision regarding the application before it. The commission may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. A brief overview of this particular application pursuant to Section 2-9 of the Madeira Beach City Code, a summary of the application. This is an application, as the chair already said, to consider a redevelopment plan for property located at 355 Bogosiega Drive. The applicant is seeking to demolish and rebuild the same footprint, a single-family residence on this property. The standards to be applied to the application and evidence are set forth in Section 110-97, and the city planner will be discussing that further with you, of the city code, and that concerns the redevelopment planning process. The burden of proof at such a hearing is the greater weight of the evidence, and that's contained in Section 2-10A. And competent, substantial evidence that you heard previously must be fact-based, material, and relevant It should not be generalized and should not be personal preferences, and not obviously irrelevant or immaterial things. The parties in this particular application are the applicant Rebecca Furlong, and I believe she's acting on behalf of a Rebecca Furlong Living Trust, and the city is obviously a party. The order of presentation under section 2-9, unless modified, is that the applicant goes first, the city goes second. I don't believe any parties have signed up as affected parties, is that correct? So nobody
Correct.
signed up to be an affected party.
Right, no.
And then the public can be heard, and then rebuttal by the applicant and the city. I guess the first step, unless the chair wants to do it, is if there have been any ex parte communications with anybody about this application.
Nope, there has not.
I think I should swear any witnesses that would be here to testify.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak tonight against this project?
That would include the applicant.
Or the applicant that's going to speak that's for the project? If you are, you could be sworn in.
Will you be speaking? Yeah, I think. If you would raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so do we go now to the city background, or do we go to the public, let the public hearing speak?
Yeah, under your provision, the applicant goes first in this matter.
Okay, so if we could hear your thoughts on the project? We keep it to 3 minutes, please.
No? Yes. Okay, I currently own the home at 355 Boca Ciega, and it was built, I believe, in 1946. It tilts a little bit. I think that it's had water underneath it, maybe one too many times for whatever they had there. And there's just I've consulted with architects, there's no way, because it's in the middle, there's no way of cutting a hole in the center of the house to fix whatever is underneath there that's no longer holding it up. So I would like to tear it down and build a new one that goes under the regulations of FEMA so that there's not a living quarter on the first floor, but the next 2 levels. Thank you.
Now, the city could speak?
Unless you have questions.
Any questions for the applicant?
You're Rebecca, right? Yes, okay.
So you're trying to build this on the existing footprint and the only 2 setbacks you're trying to get that won't be addressed are the rear setback and the side setback. Is that your understanding?
Correct.
Are you using the existing slab, or will the entire slab be removed, or
There isn't a slab.
built up?
I'm not sure what's under there. Maybe old telephone poles, with maybe
It has a
2
crawl
by 6s.
space.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I've not been willing to crawl under it to find out exactly what's there.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant? Moving on. Now the city, I jump in the gun. Now it's your turn.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Louis Cerna with Calvin Giordano and Associates. You have in front of you our staff report. This did not get into the packet that was sent out to you. You had all the attachments, but you did not have the staff report. It's dated July 3rd. That was the date of the original meeting, and it got bumped. But anyway, hopefully the staff report will help provide a little more explanation than we provided in your packet. But essentially, this is redevelopment in accordance with Section 110-97 of the Madeira Beach Land Development Regulations. This section of code is basically to encourage the redevelopment of non-conforming properties. There are quite a bit of non-conforming properties in the city, and rather than allowing these to fall into disrepair, and rather than requiring that they build to current standards as far as setbacks go and those sorts of restrictions, they can rebuild to the same footprint, even though it's non-conforming, as long as they elevate to the current base flood elevation and meet current building code standards. And that is what is being proposed here. These are not, it's not typical to see a lot of these sorts of applications, although we do have one in for the next Planning Commission meeting, so you will be seeing another one of these, but this is not a typical rezoning or other things that this board usually sees. But as you can see from the information we provided in our staff report, the application, the current home, which was built in the 40s, does not meet the current rear setback and does not meet side setbacks. But according to the regulations, they can rebuild. And therefore, based on the criteria in the code for redevelopment, we're recommending that you recommend approval of this subject to 3 conditions. And those conditions are on page 2 of the staff report. The conditions are that the proposed reconstruction shall be for a single-family residence, which is what they have currently. The second one is that the proposed redevelopment shall be within the same footprint of the existing structure as shown on the survey submitted with the redevelopment application, and that was included in your packet. The third condition is that the proposed redevelopment shall comply with the existing building codes in effect at the time of permitting of such redevelopment, including floodplain regulations. So these conditions are basically requirements of the current land development regulations. So we're recommending in favor of the application subject to those 3 conditions.
So any questions? So I guess, yeah, my question was gonna be that it's gonna be built with in the floodplain, so it'll be built up above the ground.
That's correct.
Okay, but the same existing footprint. Okay?
Yes.
Any questions down there? Shall we, can I get an emotion from somebody?
Yeah, just out of an abundance of caution, just open to the public. Yep.
You guys have anything else to add the public out there? Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment plan application that was submitted by Rebecca Forlong.
About a second.
I'll second that.
Yeah, and just to be clear, let's have the recommendation with the 3 conditions specified by staff.
Would you like to restate your motion?
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve the redevelopment plan application submitted by Rebecca Furlong with the 3 recommendations that were recommended by the city.
All right, and I'll second that redevelopment plan for property located at 355 Okasiega Drive.
Commissioner Rasmussen?
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Flynn?
Yes.
First Vice Chair Belaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Chairman Noble?
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations. So moving on, the next agenda item is any old business? Any reports from the city? Interim city manager, attorney, planning and zoning consultants?
As your acting city manager, I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for your participation in this planning board. We've got several other boards that are coming up right now, and it's more difficult than you might imagine to get people to fill those spots. So I understand what you guys have to go through doing the planning and zoning board. So thank you from my office to yours. Look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Well, I would like to apologize to the applicant that we kept putting it off, and I know we had a meeting scheduled for next week, but we really all wanted to come in here and not hold you up. I know how exciting it is to get some new construction going, and we want to do our part for all the residents of the city of Madeira Beach and move things forward. Now, I understand the next meeting that was scheduled for August 7th has been canceled?
Yes, because the application did not reach us by the deadline.
Okay.
So I believe the next one is,
September.
it is in September. I'm sorry, I don't have the, I know it's on the last page of the
Is it
minutes.
the first Monday?
Yes.
It's Labor Day.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have to move it. That's right. We have to move it for the following. I believe we're going to try to do that, is what we were discussing. Louis?
Yeah, the 5th or the
September.
11th.
Yeah, either the 5th or the 11th.
The 5th is Tuesday and the 11th is Monday.
Not quite sure who determines that. Is that something the
Well, the planning commission can decide when they want to meet, whatever's more convenient.
Does anybody have, I heard a 5th on my left here. Anybody else have any thoughts on what's a better day?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend September 5th, if that would be acceptable with, on a Tuesday that week, if that would be acceptable with the rest of the commission.
I mean, I think we really have always kept them on Mondays.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are usually on
so I think we got to
Mondays.
keep it on Monday,
So it would be that
or else
following
next thing you
Monday.
know, we got them on Saturdays and Fridays and.
Yeah,
So
Monday
that
would be the 11th.
Next Monday, the 11th. So the next meeting is scheduled, 6 o'clock, September 11th.
Thank you.
All right, I guess this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Motion to adjourn?
I had a question for the city manager. What is the status of a new planning and zoning director?
Actually, we just got an application in yesterday, and we have scheduled a interview with him like this coming week, I believe. So we're hopeful.
That would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's,
Thank you. There has to be a motion to adjourn?
Yes, there should be.
All right, do we have someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
second.
Roll, vote.
All right, Commissioner Carr?
Yes.
Commissioner Rasmussen?
Yes.
Commissioner Belaski?
Yes.
Second Vice Chair Flynn?
Yes.
Chairman Noble?
Yes, this meeting is adjourned.